What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, Aqua Life, baby. You already know. Yeah, I changed hats, whatnot. But I want to talk to you guys about the card that won me my first ever tournament, won me my first ever mat, my first ever lot of things for Vanguard. Talk about my boy Glory Maelstrom, Mr. $20 right here, baby, and his SP is $40. I saw it on TCG Player. But pretty much when he came out and said 9, as I said with the crit trigger, you're going to see a shift in, you can feel a shift in Aqua Force because people were thinking, oh, you can't block him, when you're on 5 damage with grade 1, so let's run crits and crit him to death. Sure. But again, he didn't really fit the mold of Aqua Force. It was more of a bland sort of thing. It was a nice finisher, but, I felt, during those days, people would usually compliment him with the self-damage or anything like that. And then when that Transcore Glory deck was out, or, floating around, the people run 3 to 4 copies of the self-damager just so you can get the 5 damage after you break right, things like that. It was more or less a one-trick pony deck to me, so to speak. So I stuck with just the cross-ride Maelstrom build for the defense. As a control player myself, I like the defense. Now, like, this card won me my first ever Vanguard tournament when it was me against one of my good friends. Back then, I didn't really know him too well, but we played in the finals. It was an Aqua Force mirror match, and he had a Diamantes column with a Maelstrom in it, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna cross ride really early. I wasn't even at limit break. I cross rode early because I wanted to negate an entire column from poking my Vanguard out because I wasn't getting to my resources fast enough. So what I did was I crossroad early, turned my 5k shields into 10k shields essentially, against 17k and below columns. And that really worked. And so then when I started building up my field and everything, I was like, well, since I play Glory Maelstrom, I know how hard it is to guard him. So I would perfect guard a lot of the other attacks, and then I would save up a lot of the triggers that I was drawing to in my hand for his Glory turn. So then, late in the game, he did go into Glory, and we were battling it out with the Glories, and because I was able to save up more grade 0 shields to go up to block his effect, I was able to successfully take that game. And so I took the game, my first undefeated finish, my first ever tournament finish. I was just so happy. So, even now, this guy is still pretty good. People run him in their Maelstrom reverse decks, even their Tetra Drive decks. Some people just, tech him. He's not a bad tech card to me. Something that you just can't block. But you do got to be at limit break 5, and, you don't want to be at 5 damage, especially in this meta with Stride, the Cross, and other things like that. Even going to the future, 5 damage is just not really anymore. You want to preserve yourself now. So I don't think right now it's just too good of a card to main at like 3 or 4, but he's still a pretty good card now. Let's fast forwarding to the future. Everybody wants to play the Glory Maelstrom, with Dispersia crit build. You can't block him except for intercepts. I think it's a bad idea to build your deck around that, one win condition, because there's a lot of I'm gonna make a video on what I think about, in more detail about what I think about it, but there's just a lot of different variables that go into that combination being a winning combination. They say, oh yeah, you can't block it, her. But, okay, what damage is your opponent at? What cards are in their hand? What's the game state? Pretty much, what's the game state? Do you have to rely on a crit trigger in order to win? And relying on drive checks is never a good idea. But it's like, do I have to rely on hitting a crit trigger in order to win? Because I'm like taking off my booster, throwing a 10k shield down. Oh, you can't guard it. But do you want to sacrifice? Do you want to just do all that just not to win the game and hope you get another one of the triggers in? Hopefully you put them to 5 damage so they can only intercept you. If you're not cross, now I'm gonna make a video on it again, but if you're not cross ridden, it's only a 20k column, unless you throw Malika into the soul or something like that. It's only a 20k column, so they can just use 2 intercepts and give you 1 to pass, and if you don't pass, then it's like, oh well, whatever. But if you're cross ridden, then obviously they cannot guard it. So It is there. And, for me, anyways, I'm going to be running this deck in my Maelstrom deck in the future. But he's going to be more like maybe a one of or a two of as a tag sort of thing because, I feel as if the cross ride defense is really good. Plus, we're getting a lot of other support, and I don't want to rely on that one combination to be my victory. I like to have different ways to win. Like, for me, I always like different options to win. What are the cards I'm dealt? How am I going to how am I going to try and come out with a victory with these cards? Lambros, the new Maelstrom Stride. My gosh, the power master. Maelstrom Reverse, Maelstrom himself. Again, Lambros. So we just have a lot of cards that, will enable us victory rather than relying on him and a crit trigger. So that's pretty much what I got to say on him. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Aqua Life, baby. I'm out. I'm sleepy. And day 8's going to come definitely later today. I'm going to make day 8 later today. I promise you we're going to get on schedule. All right. Peace.